Hello, people. Today is Monday, March 23rd, 2026. Please register people to vote and make sure they can get to the polling places. Please.
And this kind of gathering can unite us in a moral movement to save America. And we will not stand down, not now, not ever.
I've got a question for you. Are we free? Did it scare us off? Are we going to learn now? That's right. What we are doing here today is as American as apple pie. We are standing up for our rights. We are standing up for our neighbors.
That is a video put out by the Indivisible movement promoting the No King's Day protest this Saturday, this weekend. This is going to be the third one. And all across the country, people have been doing kind of guerrilla promotion about that protest this weekend. In Chippewa Valley, Wisconsin, local organizers there showed up with shovels and dye and made this very cool sign in the snow: No Kings 3, March 28th. Quote, "We ain't afraid of no stinking blizzard. Wisconsin is ready for No Kings 3.0. Bundle up and get your bunnies out here." We'll be waiting for you. In Sunnyvale, California, they're advertising Saturday's protests with this sign over a local highway overpass. This is Waterville, Maine this weekend. People promoting this everywhere. At the first No King's Day protest last June, organizers say more than 5 million people showed up at marches and rallies all across the country. Then the second No Kings was in October. Just 4 months later, organizers said more than 7 million people showed up. How many people do you think are going to show up for the third one this Saturday? Each of the dots on this map marks where an individual No Kings protest is being held in the United States. There are so many protests that from a distance, the map is basically useless. The only thing you can see is areas where no one lives, a couple of them. There were 2,500 protests at the first No Kings. There were 2,700 protests at the second No Kings. Organizers say for this one, there are already more than 3,100 protests planned all over the country. The flagship one will be in Minneapolis, the place that has spent the last 4 months showing the rest of the country what it looks like to stand up and fight back. Tonight, Bruce Springsteen announced that he will be performing at that flagship protest. Joining us now is Ezra Levin. He's the co-founder of Indivisible, one of the grassroots groups that has helped lead the organizing for the No Kings protest. Ezra, it's nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
Great to see you, Rich.
Indivisible does lots of different kinds of organizing. How do these large, very decentralized No Kings protests, we'll now have the third one of them this Saturday, how do they fit into the overall movement to oppose Trump and to limit his freedom of movement as president?
Oh, Rachel, that's a great question, because I think actually people tend to both underplay and overplay the role of massive one-day protests like this. I would say No Kings is a tactic, an extremely important tactic that can accomplish a couple of things. One, it can bust through that bubble, that air of inevitability, that Trump, that this regime is invincible, is unstoppable, is all-powerful. You don't look all-powerful when you're facing the largest nonviolent protests in American history in every nook and cranny in the country. So sending that message is great, is key, is why I'm excited that there are more than 3,100 protests already planned for Saturday. But the second thing it does that I think is just as important is it doesn't just gather millions of people in one place. I love that Springsteen is playing in the Twin Cities. I love we're going to have a big New York event and Chicago event and San Francisco event. That's great. I'm from rural Texas. I love that Kyle, Texas has an event. I love that the reddest and most rural parts of the country also have protests, because the day after No Kings, democracy won't suddenly be saved. Trump will still be in the White House. This illegal and unconstitutional war will still be going on. His secret police force, goon squad, will still be terrorizing American communities. So we need to build. This is why it's important to be organizing where you are, and why we recommend, if there is not a No Kings protest within 30 minutes or so of where you live, you should probably be organizing your own, both to make the point on March 28th, but also to start organizing your own community for what comes next.
In terms of the sort of atmosphere in the country. I will say that it's two different but related feelings that it creates in me to see a gigantic protest of 1 million people, in New York or someplace where there's lots of people have come together, and also to see 5 people out on a street corner in a rural place where that doesn't have a lot of population. It's kind of the same feeling in terms of the import of it. Ezra, I wanted to ask you, one of the things that's happened between the last huge No King's Day protest and this one this Saturday is, of course, the killing of 2 protesters in Minneapolis and the brutalizing of protesters in some other places. Do you think that's affected the way people are thinking about showing up for this kind of event?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't think the way that Trump and his folks all across the country who are launching these campaigns of terror in communities thought it would. 2 days after Alex Preddy was murdered in the Twin Cities, you can imagine people all over the country said, oh my gosh, that's sad. I'm mad about that, but I've got to protect myself. I'm not going to show up. I've got to hide. I've got to not be targeted by this regime. Instead, we saw the exact opposite, Rachel, the exact opposite. 2 days after Alex Preddy was murdered, we saw more than 200,000 people join a No Kings Eyes on Ice train to get trained up on exactly what Alex Preddy was doing, exactly what Renee Good was doing. If there is a shift, though, that I've seen, is how the Republicans are responding to No Kings. It's really interesting because in the lead up to No Kings 2, they spent 2-3 weeks talking all about No Kings, how this is going to be a violent protest. We're going to demolish the country. They had to call out the National Guard. And of course, that's not what we saw. We saw powerful joy from millions of people around the country. But you'll see right now, I challenge you, find one national elected Republican who has said the phrase no kings in the last month. I don't think you'll find that person because the word has gone out. Do not talk about this, because if we don't talk about it, then there's no conflict. And if there's no conflict, press won't cover it. And if press doesn't cover it, then people won't find out about it. And if people don't find out about it, they won't show up. That's a smart strategy on their part. I think we've got to adapt our tactics to recruit folks ourselves. So I do hope people will text No Kings to 59798, find out where your event is, and then text 3 people who never attended a protest before. They're not activists. They're not organizers. They might not even be political, but they don't like what's happening in this country. Text them and recruit them to No Kings on Saturday. Invite them to join you.
Ezra Levin, co-founder of Indivisible. Ezra, good luck this weekend. Keep us apprised. We'll have you back soon to talk about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
This is democracy and agape love in action.